we can still hear. Yes, wonderful. Yes. And say that shit with your chest. And you can't stop the avalanche of the races down the hill. Have you seen that? How it's like the same song. Hello, my name is Liza, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. I'm 40 years old, and I am pregnant with my third child. And today, we're going to do a little second trimester recap, because somehow, I'm already in the third trimester. So I am officially in the third trimester. Thank goodness. That means I can see the finish line. We're almost there. Oh, here's a little bump shot. Let's see. Oh my gosh, my back. Okay. The bump is bumping. I am looking and feeling very, very pregnant. And the second trimester, much like the first trimester, was kind of up and down for me. The second trimester can be really great for a lot of pregnant people because all of those symptoms you were feeling in the first trimester kind of fade away. The nausea, the fatigue, you get like more of a burst of energy, and that's when you typically start to show. So you look pregnant, but you don't necessarily feel super pregnant. And I definitely had a lot of that going on at the beginning of the second trimester. It took a minute. It wasn't like the week switched over and boom, all of those first trimester symptoms were gone. But I was feeling a lot better. I was feeling a lot more energy. I was sleeping well still. And then as we got a little further into the second trimester, it feels like the third trimester symptoms came roaring back. And I don't know if that's just because I'm old or what, but my back did start hurting kind of a little bit early on. And at this point, it's full on just like back pain all the time. My hips started hurting too, which is pretty common because your body is releasing relaxin to relax those muscles and relax those joints so that you can push a baby out. I also, after the holidays, was feeling absolutely exhausted again. Now, some of that was because I was sick for a little while and I had this terrible cough that was keeping me up all night long. But now the cough is mostly gone. What's keeping me up is the fact that every 2 hours I get up to pee. It like clockwork, like it's absolutely like clockwork. And I'm also having a little bit of insomnia issues where I'm having trouble falling asleep. I'll kind of do all the things right and shut everything down and turn out the light, and then I'm just lying there in the dark like, please go to sleep. But yeah, just about every 2 hours I'm up to pee. I also wanted to talk about the gestational diabetes. I was diagnosed very early on with gestational diabetes and it was a little bit rocky. They did almost immediately put me on insulin, which was a little bit scary for me. And then I was also really trying to modify my diet and stay on top of exercise. And a lot of the frustration for me with the gestational diabetes was linked to food and eating, which I already have kind of a checkered past with, but I could not figure out what would trigger my blood sugar to skyrocket. Some days I would eat something and my blood sugar would be fine, and then the next I would eat the same exact thing and my blood sugar would go up. But I did manage to find a few meals that really helped keep my blood sugar low and also keep me feeling full and satisfied because, again, when you're pregnant, or at least when I'm pregnant, just like ravenous all the time. I just want to be snacking on things all the time. And you can't really do that with gestational diabetes, especially when you're taking insulin. You kind of have to stick to an eating schedule, which has still been very frustrating, but it's going okay. The blood sugar is very well managed at this point, which is great. She is moving so much. Something that a lot of doctors ask you to do starting in your second trimester is to monitor when the baby's moving, how long it takes the baby to reach a certain number of kicks or movements. when she's active, when she's not. And especially with a high risk pregnancy, they ask you to start doing that really early on. So once I really started to feel her move, I made a note of kind of what times a day she was super active so that when I really needed to do those kick counts, I knew that I was counting in a moment when she would be active. But what has also been really, really nice is that every time I kind of have that slow panic start to rise up of, have I felt her move in a while? Like, is everything okay? I swear every time I start to think that, she gives me a little nudge, even if it's not one of the times a day where she's super active. She's like, yeah, mom, I'm here. Everything's fine. So that's really great. Mike has been able to feel her a couple of times, and it's definitely turning into that kind of like rolling movement. Like at first it feels like flutters. It is so hard to describe what it feels like to be kicked from the inside your body, like if you haven't experienced it. But a lot of people say it's like butterflies in your stomach. Yes, but no. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But in the beginning, it feels like little flutters. And then as the baby gets bigger, it can feel like little like jabs or pokes or what have you. I've definitely gotten kicked in the bladder several times. But then as she gets bigger, as the baby gets bigger and bigger, it feels more like rolls. Like as if someone was just like taking a fist or a ball or something and going like inside, which is very strange. And I think that's like her shoulder or her head kind of rolling around. But anyway, we're definitely transitioning into more of the rolling movements, which are really fun. So yeah, she is an active little bean. Unless we need to get an ultrasound picture of a specific part of her, in which case she's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to chill right where I am. The big kind of news with my second trimester is that at 28 weeks pregnant, I switched doctors. Yeah. So I've definitely talked before about how I found the practice that I had been working with at the beginning of my pregnancy. And the thing that I liked about them was that they were very kind of choose your own adventure as far as your pregnancy journey goes, where they had the capability to support someone who wanted an unmedicated at-home water birth with a doula, or someone who wanted to have a very medicated hospital birth with a doctor. And I really liked that idea, even though both of my other pregnancies and births were just the medicated kind in a hospital. And I always knew starting from my very first pregnancy that I was an epidural girl. I thought maybe this time it would be nice to try some sort of combination where I was feeling a little bit more in touch with my body and the pregnancy and all this stuff. And honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, so I chose this doctor based on that. And I've already talked a lot about kind of the issues that were happening in the first trimester, especially with being a high-risk pregnancy and feeling like every appointment I was going into felt like gloom and doom and here's a new thing that you have to worry about. Another issue that I kept running into was miscommunication between the high-risk doctor that I have to see and my regular doctor. The high-risk doctor would tell me one thing, the regular doctor would tell me something else. I know this is a little bit of a controversial topic, and I want to start off by saying that I'm not really looking for opinions or fights or whatever. I'm very much a person who believes that you should do with your body what you want. And for us and our children, we vaccinate in an attempt to protect ourselves as best we can from diseases, and also because we have people in our lives who are immunocompromised and we want to help protect them. So back in November, at an appointment with the midwife at the original doctor's office, I said, okay, so I'm going to go get my flu shot, and I wanted to confirm I'm due for a COVID booster, so I should get that as well, right? And I believe it was right around the time they had introduced a new COVID booster. Anyway, she said, oh no, we don't actually recommend that you get the COVID booster. And I said, oh, okay. And that really surprised me. She gave kind of a vague reasoning of it's new and so we don't think it's worth the risk, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought, oh, she must be talking about because it's the new strain and all that other stuff. But I was surprised because I remember when the original COVID booster came out that they were like, pregos, line up, let's go, you know? So I thought that was a little strange. I kept meaning to confirm with my high risk doctor when I saw them. And I kept forgetting. And then finally I asked, and the high risk doctor said, oh, no, 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 please get the COVID booster. Like, that is what the CDC is recommending. Like, please, please get it. And I was like, oh, okay. That's strange because they told me not to. And the high risk doctor all but kind of rolled her eyes and was like, please get the booster. Here are the reasons why it's safe. Here are the reasons why you should get it, including you're in a high risk pregnancy. And in general, you're at high risk for complications from COVID. So please get the booster. So then I went back to my regular doctor. And in that appointment, I was seeing the doctor at the practice. And I thought, oh, I'm going to just double confirm with him and make sure that everything's cool. And also let him know that the midwife is advising people not to get it. Because I thought for sure that the doctor would be like, oh, yes, please get it. And we went for that appointment. And not only did he say adamantly, do not get this booster, but he started almost a rant about drug companies and how it's not tested and there's no data. And like, listen, I agree that drug companies are evil, but then it turned into him spouting facts about fetal deaths in the wake of the COVID vaccine that were unfounded and he didn't have any proof of. And then towards the end of the conversation, he even started to backpedal and say, like, yes, the CDC recommends that you get it, but if you were my daughter or my sister, I would tell you not to get it. And it just didn't sit right with me or my husband. We believe in science. We believe in vaccines. And when I left that appointment, I was feeling scared, honestly. I am already in a demographic that is at risk of being mistreated in a medical setting, both because I am in a larger body and because I am Black. I am less likely to be believed about pain. I am less likely to be given proper medication. And I do not want to be in the middle of giving birth and ask for an epidural and have him say, no, we don't recommend that. I don't want to be in the middle of giving birth and have some insane complication and there's a drug that could help save my life and it's not administered because he has an opinion about it. I was just not feeling safe at this practice anymore. So I looked into switching doctors to a practice that was very much like what I had in my other two births, which is a practice they have, 8 doctors. Throughout your pregnancy, you try to see all the doctors because you don't know who's going to be on call. They deliver at a big hospital and it's less personalized for sure, but I would just feel safer in that environment. The worst part was I called this new practice and they were like, great, you have to have your old doctor send over your medical records before we can make an appointment and kind of put you on the roster. And also in all of that, they kind of mentioned that there's a point at which it's too late to switch doctors. Like it's too late in your pregnancy. So that made me really nervous because I didn't want to call the old doctor and be like, hey, I'm switching. Can you send them my medical records? And then have the new doctor be like, just kidding, we can't take you. And then I'd essentially be left without a doctor. But I called the old office and had them send my medical records over. And it was fairly painless, except that then the new doctor called me and was like, hey, we're missing a bunch of stuff. And I said, oh, well, they sent the medical records to me too. What are you missing? Maybe I have it. I can send it to you. And they start going down the list. And it's essentially every important test that I've been given up to that point. Like just every single one they're missing. Anyway, long story short, too late. My medical records got transferred. I'm at a new office. I've already had an appointment with them and I have another one scheduled for next week. And I love the doctor that I met so far. And when I left that appointment, I was so relieved and I just felt so good and safe, and oh yeah, this is what this experience is supposed to be like. So I'm a little upset with myself that I didn't just do that from the beginning, because that's what I wanted. I'm sure this other practice is perfect for someone else, but it was not for me. So that's where we're at, heading into the third trimester. I'm definitely getting a little bit worried about mobility and my back hurting, my hips hurting. I'm definitely in a lot of pain. I have a lot of nesting stuff that I need to do. I just started washing old baby clothes that I had from the girls, which has been really fun to go through them and see all the things, especially the ones that I have from Ella, because they're over a decade old. And obviously I only saved stuff that was still usable or very sentimental, but it's just like so fun to see and think about my big girl as a baby. We have to finish the nursery nook in our bedroom. I'm truly starting to panic a little bit. Feels like there's so much to do and so little time to do it in. Hopefully we'll get the painting done in the bedroom like I wanted to, but we'll see. Some friends of mine are throwing me a sprinkle, which is so sweet and so kind. And that's coming up in a couple of weeks, so that'll be fun too. I'm still ready. I said this at the end of the first trimester. I'm still ready. I'm ready to have a baby in my arms and to be not pregnant anymore, for sure. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and all that good stuff. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.